All right, peasants, we're here. We're doing a thing. You know what this is. Tier list, Duraludon release. We like views. I'm honest about it. Let's go ahead and hop right on in. Now, I do have a pretty hot take when it comes to Duraludon, so we'll get to that when we get to that. But there are some other things that we need to talk about. First and foremost, we need to go over the tiers. We got our S through D tier. What we typically use the D tier for on this channel is we use the D tier basically for Pokemon that need a buff, not necessarily the worst Pokemon in the game. Although maybe we just do that, but we'll see once we get going. And then for Thanos, the B tier, it's perfectly balanced as all things should be. I feel like I need to explain that. Also, one more thing. At the time of recording this, I'm at 397 subscribers. I'm very, very close to 400. So if you guys aren't subscribed and you like the content, click the button, man. It'd be really cool of you. So let's go ahead and get this started. Where do we want to start today? You know what? Last time for Hoopa, I didn't start off with Hoopa, so I guess we'll go ahead and start off with Duraludon. Now, this is my take. It's obviously S tier. It is very good. I don't quite know if it's broken. I think it's broken, but it's here's my take. It's not as broken as Greedent or Sylveon on release, and it's that's I don't think that's questionable. I maybe it's questionable. I don't know. I personally didn't feel like it was as broken as Sylveon, and Greedent didn't get nerfed for like a month and a half, so it's somewhere in that realm of brokenness, but I don't think it's as overpowered as Sylveon was, or as dumb as Greedent was. This feels like what they want Cramorant and Decidueye to be, but actually good with just enough bulk and just enough mobility to survive. It feels like where they want, you know, some of the other more less mobile, more stationary Pokemon to be, and it's really good. So how do we fix Duraludon? I know a lot of people have been complaining about it, and a lot of, you know, less than good players. I saw there's one dude, I don't want to call anyone out, I'm not going to say what server it was in, but it was in a content creator server, who was just going on a tear in a chat, just yelling at everyone for being Duraludon mains now when the Pokemon had been out for like 6 hours, and saying he can't win a game. He just got super tilted and took it out in a public Discord, which is super cringe. But how do we fix Duraludon? Okay, first things first, I think you need to lower the range on Dragon Pulse. The range on Dragon Pulse is ridiculous. The radius is super strong. Lower that in, maybe lower the cooldown, or raise the cooldown rather. By lower, I mean nerf, you get what I mean. But maybe like make the cooldown longer on Dragon Pulse, that could help. I don't think Stealth Rock is that bad. I don't think Dragon Tail is that bad. I don't even think Flash Cannon is that bad. I think what makes Flash Cannon good is just the range on it. Maybe you just lower the damage slightly. That would help. But I was using it with X attack and crit items when I was playing it mostly, so that might also factor into how much damage I was doing. Maybe that's just a good build, but I do think the damage needs to be reined in a little bit, not a ton. And then the radius and duration of the radius and cooldown of Dragon Pulse need to be nerfed a little bit. I don't think it's that overpowered. That's just my take. Come at me if you want. I don't think it's as broken as some of the other Pokemon that have been released in the game. I don't even think it's as broken as this thing, or where is it? This thing. I'm looking for Wigglytuff and Cinderace. There's Cinderace. There's Wigglytuff. Where's Wigglytuff? There's Wigglytuff. I don't think it's as broken as them, but it's really freaking good. And since we already spoiled it, still S tier. Didn't touch it. Unbelievably good. It now has a rival though in Duraludon, which is good because it needs something to keep it in check. And I'm glad we actually have something to, I guess, rival Cinderace in terms of brokenness. Lucario. Listen, dude, you're never gonna nerf Lucario until you lower its okay, let's look at how you actually nerf Lucario. We talked about this a little bit. I had the patch notes pulled up. We'll just open another tab here. Lucario, listen, you're never actually gonna nerf Lucario until you nerf this. This is what needs to be nerfed on Lucario. This is what needs to be nerfed on Lucario. You're never gonna nerf it until you nerf that. I mean, they nerfed close combat again, but that just makes Bone Rush good again. This is where Lucario needs to be nerfed. Extreme Speed, Power Up Punch. Lower the scaling. Lower the damage output. Like, it still gets plus 280 on every Extreme Speed, and it can heal from it. That's how you nerf Lucario. I don't know why we're talking about that. This wasn't meant to be a nerf Lucario video, but there we go. All right, what else did we say was broken? All right, Wigglytuff also S tier. Let's just go by what else is S tier. Actually, I don't know, but we talked about those Pokemon being broken, so there are 4 S tiers at the moment. Probably gonna be a few more. Hold on, we need to do something else. I'm just all over the place in this tier list. All right, add a row below. Not in the game. All right, there we go. Can I click off of this now? There we go. All right. Plus on the game, I don't know why it's still on this tier list, but maybe this is just like a default thing. I don't really know how it works. Doesn't really matter, but yeah, Clef, not in the game. I don't know why we need to keep reiterating this. Okay, Blastoise. Easy A tier. Turns out it's not a bug. I was just using it improperly, and apparently it never went on cooldown. No, that's not true. I have seen videos, and Water Spout used to go on cooldown during Rapid Spin. You used to have to, yeah, I was a little bit misinformed in my video, and some idiot let me know about it. Oh, dude, you have a lot of Unite videos. You don't even know about how Water Spout works, dude. Yeah, it's almost like it's been bad for 6 months or something. Whatever. Oh man, you come at me sideways in comments, I'm gonna come at you sideways in videos. But yeah, Blastoise, very good. Rapid Spin buff makes it good again. Surf, Hydro Pump, always phenomenal. Blastoise is very good. What else? Gengar, where you at? Pretty big buff. We can put it in B tier. I don't think it goes much higher than that. It was down here. I'm still willing to put it in C tier. It was really bad. It does feel a lot better with the special attack buff. We don't even know the exact numbers on it, do we? Do we know the exact numbers on Gengar yet? Where are you at, pal? Decidueye, Zeraora. Gengar. 30 special attack really isn't that big of a number, nor is it slightly better boosted special attack. Might do a little bit helping if I like it that much. Oh yeah, just special attack increased by 30 at all levels. I mean, that doesn't feel like a lot, but it definitely feels better. We've had it in D tier, and I think we move it up to C tier. We've had it in D tier for like the last 3 tier lists, if not more. So we move it up to C tier. It's a little bit better, probably still really bad, but it's definitely in a little bit better of a place. Speaking of it in a little bit better of a place, let's see what they have to say about the Decidueye. I'm just curious. I'm not going to do this for everyone, but I just want to see what they say about the Decidueye, and also I'm just curious about the actual numbers. This for us sitting at the bottom of D tier hasn't been good for yeah. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it does make it better. I think the Decidueye is probably one of my top like 3 or 4 favorite characters to play. So we'll move it up to C tier as well. I still think it's better than Gengar just because of the raw damage output. And then we have this demon, Ninetales. I think we already had it in A tier. And we had it in B tier in most of my last tier lists, but we're moving it up to the very top of A tier. The Aurora buff is so big. Just the little bit of mobility, just that little bit makes Ninetales so much better. Aurora was always a good build. It's just they sort of over buffed Avalanche Blizzard, and there was a previous nerf to Aurora, but they made it better again. Just that little bit of mobility is all that Pokemon needs. Take a hint, buddy. Take a hint, buddy. Speaking of taking a hint, but yeah, Ninetales is absolutely amazing. Try it out. It is so very good. Has 2 great builds now. One of them is significantly better than the other, but that's okay. It's very good. Might even be a really underrated jungler, dare I say, but maybe I'm just a lunatic. This first Pokemon for the don't tier. It's Cram. Why did they nerf Cramorant? Oh, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It was in an okay place. It was a buff away from being like in the mix with everybody else, but then they just made it worse for no reason. For literally no reason. Okay, there is a reason, and I'm gonna spoil the Pokemon coming after Duraludon. We already know what the next one is, so I'm gonna spoil that. If you don't want to know, then skip ahead in the video a few seconds. There's a rumor going around that they nerfed Cramorant because they wanted to nerf a water Pokemon because of the new Pokemon coming into the game, that being a Zoomeril. That's just what I heard. Take it with a grain of salt, but yeah, if that's your reason for nerfing Cramorant, why'd you buff Blastoise? So I don't think that's true. Just something I saw on Twitter, saw on Discord, saw a few people say, but kind of cringe if you ask me. All right, Cramorant. What else got paladin changes? Greedent. They only really nerfed its early game, which is a good thing. It's less good at invading now, which is desperately needed because that was super overpowered. It still has all of its sustain, all of its survivability. So I think we knock it down from S tier to a high A tier pick. It's still really good. Like, it's still unkillable. It's just less good at bullying in the early game. All right, here's another hot take. Tree. They nerfed its movement speed, and they buffed its movement speed rather, and they buffed Woodhammer and Pain Split. Pain Split still just useless. Pain Split's really bad. But Woodhammer, it's up there with Curse. I don't know how much better this makes Tree. I think it's significantly better than Trevenant, or significantly better than Decidueye and Gengar. And it's borderline B tier. It still needs like an auto attack buff. Just before we move on, they didn't buff its auto attack, right? Just to make sure. Trevenant, 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 Trevenant. Woodhammer and Pain Split. Yeah, they didn't touch its auto attacks at all. So they barely touch Pain Split. Like, that's okay. Like, it's still not very good. I want it to be great. It has such a good Unite move, such a fun play style, but it's just, yeah. It's early game still struggles a lot. Still really struggles in the early game, but it's better now. It's on its way. It's on its way up. What else do we have? Zeraora. I don't even know what they changed about Zeraora. They changed Volt Switch a little bit. I mean, it's still really good. Like, Wild Charge is still broken, but it does still have the problem of the level scaling to 14 being its last plus move, Unite move at level 10. They do need to lower that and change Wild Charge. We've talked about that in my Nerf buff video, but I still think Zeraora is very good. One of the better solo queue mons. Just even though Discharge got nerfed a while back and is still really bad, it's one of the best solo queue Pokemon just for being able to secure stuff with Discharge. So try that out if you're having trouble securing objectives. Discharge, very good at that. What else do we have? What else got changed? What else got it? Mr. Mime. They nerfed Confusion a little bit. How bad did they hurt Confusion? How bad did they touch Confusion? Ooh. Well, they nerfed regular Confusion, or buffed regular Confusion. Scale's worse, damage is worse. Well, the ratio is better, but that's about it. I mean, Guard Swap sucks already. Psychic, I mean, it still does negative damage, so I mean, Confusion's still decent, but I think we move you down to the top of C tier, Mime. I think we move you down to the very tippy top of C tier. Okay, last big enough was nerf, rather. It was Eldegoss. Nuff. How bad was the nerf? Cotton Guard, the shielding got reduced, the scaling got reduced, base got reduced. Ooh, that healing is pretty big. Cooldown was bad. I mean, it's still really good. How bad was its Unite move nerf? Oh, it only got a cooldown reduction. Oh, it even got buffed. It already had a great Unite move. I mean, Cotton Guard's good, but Cotton Spore is also good, so they just nerfed its healing, which was probably needed. I still think it's at the very top of A tier. That might even be a little bit like disingenuous because you get your Unite move more. Unite move is such a big part of your kit, and it's not like you're healing a ton less, but yeah, it's still one of the better supports, if not the best pure support in the game. Hoopa. Hoopa. What was your changes? I said I wasn't gonna do this for everything, but like the hyperspace hold cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. The changes are just weird. Everything was a nerf, but nothing except hyperspace hold cooldown was as expected. A weird mon. I mean, barely nerfed the damage on this. It looks like you barely nerfed the shadow ball damage. Little bit of a nerf to Hoopa Unbound, I guess. Not really, just barely touched it. So yeah, I mean, Hoopa, we'll put it probably S tier still, just for the value it can give you. Trick is still unbelievably good. Like, we've honestly, if you watch some of the March qualifier, there was a surprising amount of Trick. Like, everyone thought hyperspace hold was going to be this big thing. There was a lot of Trick, people using it more of like an attacker even, but yeah, Hoopa is just so good. It changes the game. It definitely changes the game. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for all the nerfs and buffs. Aegislash got some small changes. Oh wait, no, Serena's back. Serena's back at the bottom of A tier. Stomp feels so much worse. Stomp feels so much better. Drop kick feels really good now. Serena's back in the A tier for me. Speaking of A tier, let's just go ahead and fill out the rest of these. Like, we can pretty much just throw in everything else. Nothing else is really touched, so let's just power through the end of this video. Dragonite, just for the Hyper Beam secures alone, best solo Q secure in the game. Hyper Beam still the best secure in the game. For that reason alone, A tier for me. Charizard, one of the best Unites in the game. We'll throw that in A tier as well. Still does a ton of damage, great mobility, great everything. Yeah, Charizard's pretty damn good. Garchomp, I think just my power creep of Serena will move it down to B tier, which feels bad, but it really does feel bad. I love Garchomp. It's one of my favorite characters to play along with the Decidueye. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I don't know. It feels like they're buffing everything around it. It's just, but by every other all-arounder being good, it makes Garchomp less good inherently, which is unfortunate, but I mean, Garchomp's still playable. It's still good. It's still one of my favorite Pokemon to play. Not gonna stop playing Garchomp. Champ, it is on par, if not as good. Like, it's borderline S tier. It is the closest non-S tier S tier there is. We're gonna leave it just solid A tier for now, just because Lucario is still in fact Lucario. H/B tier. I think it's fine. Doesn't do amazing damage, but if you know how to play it, you can still carry a game as well as any other character in the game. So we'll go with that. Pikachu, A tier, one of the best attackers in the game. Gardevoir, one of the best attackers / junglers in the game, A tier. Crustle. Maybe it gets a little bit more play. I mean, it's all a decent amount of play in the tournaments, so we'll put it in C tier. Like, it's good on score comps. It maybe will be a little bit better than like Greedent's gotten nerfed. Maybe it'll be better in the early game for Greedent, Soda Shit. I think it's one invade, but for pure score comps, maybe you see a little bit more Crustle. We'll see. Porque no los dos, why not both? Because you have no damage. That's why. Snorlax, one of the best defenders in the game. It's just Blastoise is better at the moment. Greedent's still Greedent, and this Pokemon exists. Slowbro, unbelievable, borderline S tier again. It has such amazing early game secures with Water Gun. Very hard to KO. Super bulky, ton of HP. Very, very tip top of S tier. I know I said Machamp was the closest thing to S tier. I think I lied. I forgot about Slowbro. Speaking of S tier, Venusaur, easy S tier. Best sustain in the game. Petal Dance is ridiculous. Solar Beam even seeing some more play now. Giga Drain, just, yeah, everything about Venusaur's kit, incredible. Best auto attacks in the game up there, besides this guy. Well, some of the best auto attacks in the game, besides like these two. But yeah, still an unbelievable Pokemon. Absol, definition of B tier. It's perfectly fine. Nothing overpowered about it. Nothing underpowered about it. It just falls off late game and it's super squishy, but it does 1 billion burst damage, so good on you. Sylveon, same sort of thing, but special attacker. Falls off late game. Hyper Voice is an absolute nuke. Mystical Fire is fun. Calm Mind's really good. Terrible Unite move. Pretty bad late game. There you go. Greninja, it's just the worst Cinderace. Like, it's unbelievably good. It's just Cinderace is better in every single way. That's pretty much all there is to it. Blissey, I think it's on par now with Eldegoss, honestly. Safeguard is so good. Helping Hand is so unbelievably good, especially with demons like these in the game. I think we put Blissey A tier, man. It's weird because I had Blissey down here for the longest time just because of how bad it was in solo queue. Then with the slow smoke change, Blissey started seeing more play with Safeguard. Then Helping Hand became more of a thing, like a lot more just ranged meta, and Helping Hand became just that much more valuable. Its Unite move is still really good. It heals a ton if you want to run soft boiled in a particular matchup if you don't need. Like if the enemy teams aren't running slow smokes or a lot of crowd control, you can get away with running soft boiled and it heals a ton. So yeah, I think Blissey firmly in A tier support at the moment. You'd love to see it. A tier is a pretty big tier, but I think Talonflame also belongs in. Just a ton of burst damage. I still think Great Bird needs a damage nerf or even longer cooldown because it just does too much damage for how easy it is to play. That's just my personal take on Talonflame. And last, certainly not least, Mamoswine. Definition of a solid B tier Pokemon. Fantastic crowd control, just annoyance. Like, it freezes everything. Terrible Unite move, nerf its Unite, or buff its Unite move, and you're talking one of the best defenders in the game. It is melee, unfortunately, but it's still really good, really fun, and good. I've seen some Mamoswines control lanes, like just lock them down because they know how to use Ice Fang and freeze stuff properly. So yeah, Mamo, try it out. And that is our post Duraludon tier list. Again, very close to 400 subscribers. If you like the content, go ahead, click the button, man. I'd really appreciate it. And furthermore, let me know how wrong I am. Please roast me in the comments, but don't expect me not to come back at you. All right, I'll come back at you. You can roast me, but just expect an equal roast back. All right, is that fair? I think that's fair. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.